It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
I don't know everything. In the world. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not, but I do know it's Saturday. It's Saturday morning, and neither of those things are true. But this is Saturday Matinee. Joining me is podcast impresario, Pete Wright.
We're sticking with the impresario thing?
We are. You've earned it.
Have
Own
I?
it.
Really? Okay. I just don't know how to dress. Hi, Kyle.
And completing the lineup is the handsomest man in podcasting, Tommy.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Oh, it's so early Saturday lying.
I had to pull so many strings to get this "What's That Smell" reunion together.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean,
right.
like your assistants are tenacious.
Yeah.
And also elusive.
There are
All
dogs.
Also elusive. Yeah, to us too.
So, all right, let's talk about what have you guys been watching? What have you seen the last time since Pete? You were on last week, so I'll let Tommy go first. Tommy, what you been watching?
So many short horror films. This week was Scream Fest for Static for the short horror film that we made, and so I've gone to 3 different short film packages.
Okay, and have you sensed a theme? Like a lot of people are thinking about technology or
interesting. There's a lot of trapped in places. And so I think that's very pandemic-y. Our short was actually paired with a feature, and the feature was called The Revelation, and it was all about the early days of the pandemic, but in the Netherlands. And it was straight up unpleasant. I did not want to go back there. And unfortunately, neither did anyone else. No one came. I mean, granted, they were from the Netherlands, but no one came to support the feature. Everyone in the audience was there for us. But they did have a live stream Q&A with the director. He woke up in the middle of the night in the Netherlands to talk to us.
That's really
that was
cool.
really cool.
He woke up or someone woke him up, and then he discovered he was in a live stream.
Right.
That's
The
probably
camera's
it, yeah.
just right over
Everyone
his
in
face.
the Netherlands is always screaming.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly. But some of the short films, a lot of people are doing short films as concepts.
Oh,
and I think that's people are being more savvy as far as like, this is the first 5 minutes of my screenplay, or here's a proof of concept of a film that I want to make, which makes sense. I mean, that's the way you should live one's life. I've never done it that way except for 30 nights. But so I've been having a lot of fun doing that and meeting some cool people and then watching some films that go on 90,000 minutes.
Yes. Having
That's
been
the film
to
festival
sort of those
promise.
film festivals, that you have to really develop your poker face because you know that if something is really scary and you laugh at it, the person's probably in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You have to always just jump periodically. We used to do that when we were touring for Adam and Evelyn, an early short film that I made. We were lucky to get into a bunch of festivals. And one of the things you would do is because you're on the same circuit with a lot of filmmakers for that year. And so the first thing we would do is we were in a short block as I would go to see what else is in it. We'd be like, oh, no. Because of certain ones that were like the puppeteer or something. And it's 17 minutes long. It's horrible. And you're like, why? Why do I have to? So I've seen some of the worst short films over and over and over again. But these short packages were comparatively really strong. So it's been a lot of fun.
Moments I had at one of those screenings, I didn't have anything in competition, luckily, was I couldn't tell the tone because it wasn't like horror is nice because, hey, we're here to scare you. But this was, hey, you just made something, here it is. So from short to short, you had no idea what you were going into. And so there was one, it was, I don't want to describe it because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but like it was sort of monsters attacking kind of thing. And honest to God, I couldn't tell if it was a horror movie or a comedy or they were just doing their best. And so so many times something would happen and I'm like, that's hilarious. Am I supposed to laugh at that or not? So I was physically restraining myself but I also don't want to be rude and not laugh at something that's supposed to be funny. It was so strange.
So sweet.
Because once again, there's probably 100 of us, 200 of us in the room. Like they're all there. Like probably the entire cast is probably there.
Yeah. Well,
but as people are listening to this, though, I believe, Tommy, you are actually in a competition for your short film Static. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. We're playing today.
Right,
Saturday.
Because it's Saturday.
Yes?
Yes, it's Saturday.
Yes, we're playing on
Wink.
Saturday. I'm going up to see Uncle Pete and Uncle JJ in Portland. And it's at the Dalles. It's at the Oregon Screams Film Festival. So
Oregon
good luck.
does
Good luck.
scream.
It's exciting.
Say, I
It'll
have
be the
seen
first time I've ever actually.
Static,
Mhm.
and I have not
Yeah.
commented on it publicly. But now, since you're here and I can look you in the eye and tell
No.
and tell for all the Sabbath audience, it's really good. Like I say, I do not, as is previously established, do not have a good poker face, and I can tell you, I really did enjoy it. As someone who is now studying editing because of that's part of my job now, your
Right.
match cuts are on point.
Oh, hooray!
Go
Thank
for
you
it.
very much.
I mean, like I can talk about the screen, I can talk about, but like just while you do, I'm like, oh, that was so nice. Just crossing from room to
Oh,
room,
yeah.
and time has
So
passed.
good.
And, oh, mm.
I can tell you, I
Yeah.
think there
Thank
is
you
just
so
two
much. I
things
appreciate
for those in the know. Lady in the closet, backlit lady in the closet, and shovel shot.
Mhm.
God, those, I just jumped out of my seat. And it's a short film to jump
Shovel
twice
shot.
out of your seat. Like, they're very, very good. I was provoked, sir. I love it. I cannot wait to see it. And it's playing at a drive-through or drive-in.
I know.
Drive-through. It's playing at a
Drive-through.
Starbucks.
Oh,
It's very short.
It's
fun.
playing on a gas station
Yeah.
pump. It's one of those movies.
So we're
Um,
JJ and me and Tommy. We're going to be sitting in the car listening to it in the car stereo. I cannot wait. It's going to be
I know.
horrifying. Oh,
It'll be the first
Oh.
time I've ever been to a drive-in. I've never gone to one before in my entire
Oh,
life.
and you're going to
really?
see
Very
your
exciting.
film.
We are trying. Yeah.
Oh,
That is
man.
surreal. Surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
Good.
you're not journaling,
Yeah.
you should start because that's a good
Yeah.
one to start.
For sure. Okay.
Right.
So
Pete,
Tom
what have you been into
contributes, nothing. So I will tell you, I am still following up on last week. Still watching the homophobic and sexist Top Gear from the early
Right.
2000s. Still love the
Ah,
cars.
yes.
Still delightfully hate
Yeah.
watching the hosts. Avenue 5 season 2 came back. I'm very excited. I think I am an island in this Armando Iannucci property. I adore it.
Mhm.
It is a cruise ship in space, and I am here for it. Mostly because Hugh Laurie and cast are great. I think they're really funny. It is a show I think you have to learn how to laugh at. And
Interesting.
yeah,
'Cause I had a lot of
sort
trouble
of
with
gave
the
up
first
before
season.
I
Yeah.
learned. Yeah, I got halfway through the first season and I was like,
oh
Yeah,
man,
this is
I
really
I
funny.
love the way it ended and coming back on it. I'm an island. I get it. I know. Reboot. I'm still loving Reboot. I think what they're doing with Reboot and how they are making fun of Hulu is super, super fun since it's a Hulu show. The cast is actually quite awesome. And Keegan-Michael Key
Yes.
and what's his name? Jackass, who is,
No, Johnny
he's
Knoxville.
really good. Like, and Rachel,
Rachel
super
Bloom.
solid cast. Let's just say that. Just really,
Oh, and the return of Paul Reiser.
And Paul Reiser swears a lot, and I love it. They are just like their writer's room is perfect, pitch perfect. So I love that. I don't think, I mean, we've talked about House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, blah, 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 blah. They're all fine. Everybody's watching them. They spend a lot of money. But we have not talked enough about how good Andor really, really is. Like, Andor is
Yes.
like peaking right now. We got the heist, and I have been looking forward to it. It's been such a slow burn. I think this show it's the best of the Star Wars shows. Like, it is the best of the Star Wars shows for me. It's everything that I think the Star Wars shows, when we heard they were going small screen, were aspiring to. This is it for me. This is the one. This is the one. Tony Scott.
Yeah, I have some minor quibbles, and I thought this last episode, actually, there's a couple of things that I was like, not even, it's not Star Wars enough, but, well, I guess my only like nerdy technical point is, Star Wars doesn't have
Okay, now wait a minute. You're talking
newscasters?
about episode released on October 19th this week. I haven't watched it yet.
Yes,
See,
by the time people will be one
and what,
further
you've
on
got
by the time
quibbles
they hear
from a
this.
show I haven't watched yet, so I have to shut my mouth.
Yeah, well, okay. Spoiler: there's a talking head journalist, but that's they don't do that in Star. Basically one. It's a typical TV thing of like guys going by his day. Huh? What's that? Exposition. I'm like, that's not how we do
You
things.
just
in
watch,
Star
Kyle.
Wars.
From now on, it's all talking head
Excuse
journalists. This was it.
Yeah, I guess so. That's like
We've reached the
suddenly
the
becomes
singularity.
The Wire.
This is the Wire. That's what all Tony Scott ever wanted to do, is turn Star Wars into the Wire.
And then I also it feels like they this feels like an episode that they wrote in between two other episodes, so they get to the end and they go, oh shoot, he has to be in X, Y, or Z, and they have to like all of a sudden in the last 5 minutes, they're like, we're dramatically changing everything. What?
Damn it!
You
why did I
time.
bring it up
like,
this week without watching that episode? Like, I'm still high on the eye, which was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the dealing with the ramifications of the eye, and I love the slow burn. I love all the different characters. Like, I never go, this guy again. When they shift to somebody else. I wish it wasn't called Andor, because he's not really the main character anymore.
I don't understand that. I don't understand it, but I do think that I would just like to, Tom, when it comes around and you decide to get another free 7-day trial of Disney Plus on another fake email address. Yep. I just suggest that Andor might be one where you start, because it's
Andor.
I actually think you would dig this. It is political.
Really?
It is.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Not very Star Wars-y
Okay.
at all.
And it's the one that stars the guy from Ichumama Tambien?
Yes.
He's been in 900,000 things since then.
What's his name? Stellan Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård.
I like him.
He's fantastic. And what's her name? What's her name? Who is having a marriage trouble? Why can't I think of her name? I keep wanting to say Kristen Scott Thomas, but no, in the show she has a bad marriage. But she's like the young version of legendary Star Wars character.
Mon
Mothma.
Mon Mothma, right?
I don't remember the actress.
I don't remember the actress's name though, but she is really good.
So good. Everybody is a different league.
Every time they see that though, and I go, you spent like probably 10 times her salary to like CG puppeteer Mark Hamill from the 80s, and yet you recast Mon Mothma, and look what you get.
So good. So good.
Yeah, just let new actors stop.
The thing is, actually,
aging actors.
Mon Mothma, that character is played by Mark Hamill. All CG. All CG. Yeah.
I take back everything. Mark Hamill can do no wrong, as far as I'm concerned.
So that's it. That's my week. Been a lot of stuff. And Gremlins too.
Okay, cool. All right, well then, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about trailers. So.
That's the theme. That's the trailer theme. I just decided.
Okay. Note to the editor. Cut that out and make it the trailer theme for everything going forward, including Tommy's little laugh. Keep that in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna need 3 variations on that laugh so we can choose in the edit.
I definitely didn't get mine in first.
Yeah, so I got in the first. Originally, I was going to do Matilda, but it turns out that you got there last week.
Woo!
Had a nice fun discussion about that. I am in the anti-Roald Dahl but pro-Roald Dahl properties camp, because he's super problematic. But the stuff he wrote was actually,
look at what they can do
really
with
good.
his stuff.
And I had just when
he's not in the picture,
right? Like when you actually have somebody who's not anti-Semitic, look what you can do with this amazing stuff. So I actually I had also just seen a production of Matilda, like at our local theater, and it was phenomenal. And so I'm super excited to see that. But instead, I chose to go a different way, because I discovered this this little documentary about something. I love this age that we're in now, where you can have sort of a mid-range budget documentary about the weirdest stuff, and it's things I'm so excited about, because I'm like, oh, there's somebody else knew this exists. So this is a documentary called Clay Dream.
We have a special guest tonight, the man who made claymation a household word, Will Vinton.
I never really had much interest in film production until I went to college.
This is Berkeley in the 60s.
Things were getting pretty wacky. And in particular, I was working on a technique of clay animation.
Claymation! Thank you for turning me on. Winning an Oscar was huge.
All of Will's dreams were coming true.
We knew we were pioneering something.
It felt like art school plus vacation. I have my actual contract. It doesn't even have my real name on it. It was just like, hey, you want to work here? What's your name? I'll just make one up.
I remember one day thinking, we're all going to end up being old together. It all felt very close.
We did so many things by virtue of the fact that we were doing them very, very inexpensively. Claymation just blew up.
So for those of us of the Gen X generation. I think we have all saw a lot of these things. That California Raisins, of course, was the big thing. But Will Vinton and the Claymation Studios did so many things in a very short amount of time, and then just disappeared. And so that's I'm kind of curious to see what it was that actually stopped that train from rolling, because they were everywhere. I even say that if you're looking for a Christmas special, the Claymation Christmas special is one of the best ever made. It's still funny and amazing that it all was, sort of handmade. But what did you guys think of the trailer?
I forgot how much claymation there was.
So
it was
much,
everywhere.
right?
I was watching the trailer and I was like, oh yeah. And then the Noid. I'm like, oh my God.
Avoid the Noid,
was
man.
The whole thing.
Avoid it.
Avoid the Noid,
Hard.
man. So
He even had a Nintendo game.
He did?
The Noid, yeah. There was actually a Noid video game. On
I
the
still
Nintendo.
have a
bet it
bunch
was
of Noids,
awesome.
like the little. Yeah,
I think I might too. I might still have some
because
plastic
they
Noids.
gave them away with Domino's. You'd order Domino's and you get the Noid
Right.
and the little stand-ups, and some of them have little burglar masks.
And the Noid was what? Cold pizza? What did he represent?
Yes.
Cold pizza.
Yes. Yeah, he represents.
Because he would get in the way of the driver? I don't remember. What does he have to do with
The Noid was just a carjacker, Tom. He just jacked
Oh,
cars.
no.
That's what you have to avoid.
Oh,
That's
no.
why they had to get rid of the 30 minutes or it's free deal, because of the Noid kept jacking cars.
He was. If you would have said, "Hey, it's a documentary about claymation," I wouldn't have been interested until I saw the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, right,
Yeah.
this was everything." All the time, it was so much claymation
Yeah.
that came out of nowhere. So I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
This story has a particular resonance to those of us of the Portland, Oregon faith, because I don't have to get on a highway. I'm 3 minutes from Studio Leica, which is the controversial antecedent or descendant of Claymation Studios, and the whole deal between Will Vinton and Phil Knight and Travis Knight, and the way it was handed over from Will Vinton and Mega Money Nike is extraordinary and sad, and yet what has come out of it are some of my favorite films from Studio Leica. It's just extraordinary, and so I think this is one of those incredibly sad founder stories that should have been different, but also he could have been smarter and worn shoes more often and kind of played the game better. You know what I mean? It was counterculture meets business culture, and it's sad. So I'm really interested in how they portray the story. From the looks of it, it's going to be very pro Vinton, as it should be. He was taken advantage of,
maybe.
But I didn't see Travis Knight in it. So, that's going to be a telling part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, so it'd be interesting to see if there's a Clay Nightmare sequel in the future. The nice thing is you don't have to wait long because you can watch it right now. It's available for rental or for purchase on the iTunes and Amazon and all the usual video retailers.
I like the parts in these type of documentary trailers when everything's going great, and then they're like, and that's when the bottom dropped out. I would like them to be like, and that's when we ran out of clay. What if they just that's it? We just ran out of clay.
Transition to
just a bunch of sad
paper.
Yeah, stop motion with pipe cleaners just didn't really have the same resonance we found. All right, so Tommy, you got in there next. You have sort of another weird independent film. That
this is going to be a real game changer. Expect something totally different from something with Chapter 4 in the title. This is John Wick, Chapter 4.
Have you given any thought to where this ends? The table will never stop. You know this. No one, not even you, can kill everyone.
You ready, John?
Yeah.
I love the John Wick series. I think it might be my second favorite series, maybe. No, my first definitely is Mission Impossible, I've decided, as far as like a series of films.
I would agree with that.
And this, as far as like action films, this might be my second. I just think it's so cool. And there was so much in the trailer for the third one that I was like, well, that'll be it. And then this one, they're topping parts of it with certain shots, which is just outstanding. So I think it's so neat. And really the thing that I like the most about it, obviously, is the action, but also the world building continues to be phenomenal. And the fact that they're finally they really seem to be going after the table. If that's what they're called, is that the bad guys? The bad of the bad?
Yeah.
I'm really excited. So I will be first in line for this movie.
I just like it. I just like it.
Wow.
I just
heard
like
it here
when
first,
Tom
folks.
says things like, that's my favorite. I've decided. As if he literally has been thinking about it until this moment and just decided that Mission Impossible is his favorite series of all time. That is the
Did you not see the gavel come into the...
That's exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right.
Hear ye is how I'm going to start every sentence from now on. Yeah.
I assumed everybody had printed out their scorecard
exactly.
going along.
I can no longer watch any John Wick movie without watching all John Wick movies. And that's really problematic when we reach chapter 4, because that's like you're losing a weekend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you watch them all on a day and then you have the bends the next day and you have to stay in bed. So I don't even know what else to say. It looks like more of everything that I love about John Wick. And I'm really okay with that. I don't need them to swing any bigger in a new direction. Give me more of the same. Get a longer John Wick movie, and I'm really okay.
Yeah. A couple of years back, a friend of mine came and said, "Hey, I got tickets to a sneak preview of a new movie. You want to go see it? It's one of those blank things. We don't know what it is." And he's like, "All I know is it stars Keanu Reeves." So like we went in cold, like 6 months before the movie came out, and watched John Wick, and I was like, what just happened? Like, I was talking to everybody going, no. Like, because Keanu Reeves was sort of like, oh, you mean Bill from Bill and Ted and Neo, right? Like, no, you don't understand. Things are about to change. And they did. So I always have a special place in my heart for John Wick. It's one of those things where I enjoy them sort of like as a thrill ride. I like the Mission Impossibles because they have the sort of like, there is a plot, there is a, I'm getting more and more confused the more John Wick goes on, because I was like, where are we going? Like, the first one totally makes sense. And then the second one, you're dealing with the ramifications of the first one. By the time you get to the third, it's like, John, what do you want? Like, that's the only problem I have with the John Wick series is I don't understand, like, his goal. Like, John McClane, I understand what you're doing, you know, Riggs, I know where you're at. I don't understand what John Wick wants, what he's doing, where he's going. I just know that he is punching and shooting a lot of guys and sometimes on horseback. Okay, fine. I just sort of along for the ride. But for a movie that you're talking about, the world building is so intense, to have a main character whose main motives are mysterious. Am I rooting for you? Like, do you have a plan? Are you just wandering around the city, you know, killing anyone who tries to kill you? I don't know. So I'm hoping that they'll start to pull some of those threads together in the fourth one, as opposed to just like, I don't know, room of mirrors, go ahead, just shoot them, whatever. Like, you know, it just becomes a video game at that point. And I sort of like, there could be a lot more here if you guys would just, you know, sort of have John tell anyone what he's doing.
That would require him to
mix. Yeah, he wants a mix, as Brian is pointing out, of payback, revenge, and then little gold coins in velvet briefcases. And that's really what he wants. That's what everyone in that world wants.
I guess the big thing for me was when he worked his way up to the head of the table and then went, "Now go ahead, cut the finger off. I'm good." Like, wait, aren't you trying to, he's right there. Like, if you want to take him out, now's the time. No.
There is one thing that gives me anxiety about the movies, and I'm just realizing this right now because I brought up the coins. How you decide how much a coin is worth. I've seen him give a coin and get 19 guns, and I've seen him give a coin to a taxi driver. It's like an old Wild West version of payment. I don't understand.
Is it like they have to do they have to bite on it to make sure that it's
exactly like do you use it just as a tip?
Do you know?
And then
it's like
as
sign
a down
language.
payment on a house.
You know how when you're signing, like sign language, it involves both what you're doing with your hands and what's on your face. I think transactions
right.
involve your face. Like if you give a coin and a wink, that's worth one thing. If you give a coin and a somber, hard, like Paddington's hard stare, that's worth a lot more. That's 19 guns, right? So, and the gold coin takes on it. It is imbued with your sentiment the moment because world building.
Got it.
You see what I did
It's inflation.
It's emotional inflation of the coin.
So, mild criticism. I also will be right behind Tommy in line because I will not miss, because John Wick has some of the most intense and well shot and innovative action sequences in the last 10 years. Yeah. So long may they run, but please give us a thread.
Okay. Well,
so, and rounding us out,
a ding
with a rom-com.
A ding. I'm talking about Creed 3.
I spent the last 7 years of my life living out my wildest dreams. Bianca, Rocky, my dad. This was built on their shoulders. Hey, my man, can I help you?
Let me get an autograph.
Nah, I ain't signing the autographs, but you get off my car.
You don't remember me, huh?
Damien. How long were you locked up?
18 years, bro. Just got out last week.
Glad to have you back out, huh?
I know I've been away a long time, but I kept myself in shape. I still got gas in the tank.
Come by the gym.
Thank you.
Curious what happened with you two?
I didn't tell you. We was like brothers. I was the best, though. But I never got a chance to prove that. That's cute.
Hurt me?
I know what you're doing, Donnie. You don't owe this dude nothing.
Damien's fighting the world and he's trying to hurt people.
I vouch for you. You think you mad? Try spending half your life in a cell. Watching somebody else live your life. I'm coming for everything. You threatening me?
Something is going on with you.
Damien was like family.
Now we past talking.
Then maybe you just have to find him.
Okay, everybody, Creed. I was surprised at just how much I loved Creed when it came out. I loved Creed. Michael B. Jordan as the son of Apollo Creed. It was a great, great, great movie directed by Ryan Coogler. Awesome. Loved it a lot. Creed 2, very surprised. I also really, really liked that. And so that brings us to Creed 3, which I did not expect, but should have, because I just didn't hear it was coming. I feel like Creed 3 was obviously coming because everybody who was involved in them is now an even bigger star than they were the first time, and both of those movies did very well. So we have Creed 3. This one is the story and screenplay. So the screenplay is written by Keenan Coogler and Zach Balin, story by those two plus Ryan Coogler. Ryan is on to produce at this point with a lot of people and directed by Michael B. Jordan himself.
That's right. Is this his debut?
It is his debut. This is his directorial debut. And I will be stunned, I tell you, if this movie surprises me at all based on this trailer. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I got shades of the previous Rocky. What was Rocky? Rocky 4 was the one with
fighting the streets.
Young guy
Yeah,
from
the street
streets?
fighting Rocky. Yeah.
5. I think. I thought 4 was Russia McGee.
Yeah. Well, because it was Rocky 1 and 2 were practically Rocky 1.5. They were kind of one, and then, it was 5.
Was it 5?
Right.
It was Rocky 5. Okay, and then Rocky Balboa.
We're gonna bring
Rocky
some hurting
6,
bombs. Right? Yeah, blunt force trauma.
Yeah. So that's the kind of the vibe I got was the Tommy Gunn, I guess, or whatever. But that being said. Wow, the star power in this. Like, man, just like me, Jordan and Jonathan Majors. Like, okay. Like, I'd be happy to watch them have dinner. Like, they're just as intense because both those guys made Tessa Thompson. I mean, like, big Marvel energy in here. But yeah, when they get to the end and one guy's in white
black.
and one guy's in black, you go, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they have not left the Rocky franchise behind.
No. But I have to remind us all, we love
that being
boxing
said,
movies.
I have yet to see a Creed movie.
Me too, Kyle.
I've seen all the Rockies. I have not seen any Creed movie
either, and I feel so bad about it.
I'm not a
That's what I said.
fan. I like Michael B. Jordan. But I'm just not. I don't really care about dudes punching each other. I just, as a sport, like everybody's just watching guys beat each other.
You should see. Yeah,
I recognize my hypocrisy talking
totally.
just about John Wick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clay Dream.
These are great. They're very, very good movies. They are legitimately well-made films.
Okay.
And how many movies are you watching right now that aren't just people beating each other up? Right? You know what I mean? Like, so this is organized beating each other up, but it's still beating each other up. And I'm here for it. I am really, I am disappointed at just how predictable this story looks, especially when there is so much story. I mean, there's just a lot of good story in and around the boxing parts of the other two, that this one just feels rehashed. I'm gonna be there for it. I might see it after John Wick, but Jonathan Majors is a house in this movie. He is massive in this movie. So it looks great. Yeah. Tommy, you didn't say anything. What'd you think?
I haven't seen the other Creeds, and so I don't know, but I want to see it, and I've been told to see it over and over again. I have the same thing. I don't mind boxing. I just don't like rings. But I am going to get over that hump. That's why I didn't care for Mordor. So I'm going to watch Creed. I promise, and I look forward to it.
Right.
I like that all of the music was timed to punches in this trailer.
Yes.
Punch. Yep.
So many punches. Comes out 2023. I don't know how many trailers we've had in 2023. This one drops March 3rd, 2023. When did you say when John Wick dropped?
No.
Do you know?
Nope.
I think it's also in that same time period. I think it's like a March of 2023.
Oh my gosh! Double feature, March 24, 2023.
There you go.
Wow! So I will see Creed before I see punchy,
punchy,
shorty.
You have yourself a great weekend.
Oh, it's going to be great!
Right.
Can't wait.
All right. So I have put together.
Is it harrowing?
This is called Pitch Fest. So I'm using the game Pitch Storm from the geniuses over at Skybound, but I've sort of done some variation on this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to play a film executive. You guys are both budding screenwriters who are pitching me your movie.
I can already tell you I'm going to be your antagonist because the first thing I'm going to say involves time travel, and you're going to hate it.
Well, I see, but I have cards here that are going to have character, and then they were going to have plot. So I am going to, on the Discord, send them to you, and then you're going to pitch the movie to me, and then I will, round one, I will decide between the two of you which is the pitch of the movie I'm going to do.
This is very exciting.
So we need to look at the chat.
So what I want from you, I'm going to give you, so I'll give you an example here to give you an idea of what it is. So I'll just pick the first two cards of the thing. So we have character and we have plot. So the character, the prompt I will give you is: a pair of stoners that just ran out of weed discover a map leading to a legendary treasure hoard. So I need you to pitch me that movie as much as you can, beginning, middle, and end. And then in a minute, I'm going to time you. We'll give you 1 minute. And at the end of it, then I want you to give me what the title of that movie is.
Oh, this sounds hard.
So wait, I have to pitch you the thing you just read to me? But you just read it, don't you already know?
So I'm giving you the log line. You're going to tell me what the movie is. And it's up to you whether you want to include, like the actors or, set pieces, whatever you want to do to try and convince me that yours is the movie that I should make. Just to make it more exciting, I'm going to send it to you on Discord so that not everyone hears, and so the other person will. All right. So while I am doing that, Tommy, tell the good people what is the worst movie you went on a date and saw.
The worst movie I went on a date and saw: The Nightmare Before Christmas. Everyone loves that movie but me. Granted, the sound was broken, and so that was a big problem with it. But that I think was we left halfway through, and the relationship left halfway through as well.
Okay, so here is your prompt, Pete. So pitch that movie.
Taye Diggs is out of his league. He's a young teacher, but due to a just cascade of unfortunate events, the headmaster at a boarding school has been ousted. So Taye Diggs is actually promoted to the headmaster, and he has to save the school from the zombie apocalypse, targeted directly toward teens on Disney Plus, coming this fall.
And the title of it is?
There's zombies. Wait, no.
That's targeted to kids.
Ooh, I don't know if we can put that on a market.
No, I take that. I absolutely take that back. We're going to workshop that, clearly. Taking it from the crowd. The chat room speaks. Zombie Elementary. I like it. Brian with the hat. Yeah, an assist from the chat. Zombie Elementary with Taye Diggs. I don't know. I've got real Taye Diggs on the brain,
and you beat the timer. So good job. For
a
that.
minute is how much time did I have left after all of my hemming and hawing?
You still had like 10 seconds left.
It goes fast. I was nervous,
and you know.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm now ready for round 2. So I get it. I'm in the zone now. Let's do this. All right.
Okay. All right. So Tommy, I'm going to now on the chitty chats, I'm going to send you your prompt. While I do that, Pete, tell me a movie that you saw that was not a scary movie, but ended up scaring you.
It actually is the answer to the same question that you asked Tom, and that is Titanic, because I don't like the icy cold water and drowning in boats. And so by the end of that movie, when everybody's dying and falling off the boat, I mean, when the back of the boat goes up and people are falling off and bouncing off the props, that is a troublesome sequence. It's a love story, but man, did it give me the shivers. Right. Pete sympathized with Billy Zane. I sympathize with Billy Zane in every movie with Billy Zane. Yeah, I sympathize when he was a goon for
this is why you need to see
Biff Tannen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it in movies when they bring up someone like Titanic and he goes, nothing will ever become of him. it's such autopilot writing. All right. Here.
Well, there's things that James Cameron excels at, and there's some things
you
that
mean
he just...
Dead Calm when the protagonist was Billy Zane? That would have been an awesome movie.
All right, Tommy, are you ready to pitch?
Ready to pitch. Okay, and
okay.
Go.
Timer's running. Go.
Taye Diggs is back in college. He's an unconventional college student, but he pledges a frat. But then, thank God he's there, because they're on the verge of suspension. Do you know why? Because the entire fraternity is built over a pot of gold, and a wily leprechaun is trying to steal all of their paddles, so they can't hit each other in some weird psychosexual fraternity thing that I barely understand because I didn't rush. Taye Diggs, will he help out the fraternity? This is going to be pitched over Disney Plus to children. And the movie is called Phi Delta Boyo, because it's a leprechaun.
Yeah, it's a leprechaun.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was amazing.
That's all I have. Taye Diggs. Wow. I didn't realize that this was a Taye Diggs pitch test, but I like that. So we have Zombie Elementary, and then we have
Phi Delta Boyo.
Phi Delta
because that's
Boyo?
What
because the
Irish people say.
It's Irish. Yeah. Got the leprechaun. Got it. So okay. All right. I think the luck of the Irish is with you, because I think I'm green light now.
I didn't see that coming, because I did a terrible job.
Frat Boys versus Leprechauns. Come on, the poster.
It is a movie that does
itself.
Itself. That's fantastic.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to round 2. If any screenwriter in Hollywood knows, what you're going to do next is competition. So in this one, you get a chance. So Tommy got the point last time, so he gets a choice this time. You're going to get another prompt, but after... Then basically Pete's going to be able to listen to your prompt and then do another one off it. So he gets to do the rewrite. So you have a choice whether you want to force him to go first and then you rewrite him, or if you want to go establish that, like, you know, that you are the main guy and say, try and match that. So would you like to get the prompt first, or would you like Pete to go and then you
I will
rewrite
go second.
him? Okay.
That's unfortunate.
Pete doesn't like it.
I live to rewrite you, Tom. Don't you know that?
So, Pete, that is your movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Tommy, you actually have to pay attention because you're going to have to, and then have to do a better version of what Pete's about to pitch.
Okay.
So, Pete, let me know when you are ready, and I will start the time. Pitch fast.
The real question is, who do you cast for all these things besides Taye Diggs?
I think you should Diggs it.
Well, that is up. How your pitching style is up to you. Like, you can try and draw me in by doing a word picture, or you can say,
no,
Taye Diggs is back.
I already got it.
And this time he brought Sandra Bullock with him.
Sandra Bullock, not
you
this
can
one.
try and sell me on star power, or you can sell me on your concept, or woo me with your words.
Okay, let's.
And remember, Tommy is at your heels, ready to do your job better than you. So, are you ready to pitch?
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay. All right, your time starts now.
Taye Diggs is on the hunt, but this time he has a new partner. Matt Smith, fresh off his take from House of Dragons. They're coming back to HBO Max this summer. And what are they looking for? They're looking for the secret Squatch. That's right. Sasquatch, high in the mountains of Alaska, will test their wits, their will, and their ability to survive. The hunt for Secret Squatchy.
is the title of your movie
Secret
The
Squatchy.
Hunt for Secret Squatchy?
Yeah. And the trailer is going to include...
So you're just going to burn the other 20 seconds?
The trailer is going to include lots of... Get ready, because you're going to hear Matt Smith deliver his absolutely iconic Squatch call. And so we'll get to hear a lot of...
Can we hear a lot of Squatch call?
Which is the call of the Squatch. Please, God, tell me that's the end of my time.
That was well worth it. You got the Squatch call in under time. That was the most important.
All right, I'm ready.
Well done. Okay, so Tommy, we got this interesting pitch about the secret Squatchy hunt, something like that. But we think we can do better. Can you improve on that?
I absolutely can. You thought they were done, but coming back to HBO Max is Kim Cattrall, Cynthia Nixon, and Sarah Jessica Parker. They are traveling through the city doing martinis and looking for a certain hairy fellow that might fit the bill in their love lives. This is Sasquatch in the City, co-starring Taye Diggs. That was not good.
You still have 30 seconds if you want to try and...
I feel like we've misinterpreted pitch for trailer, both of us.
Kim Cattrall just got mad at everybody because she wants even more money, so she's out. Taking her place, playing Samantha, is Taye Diggs.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Even I would greenlight Squatch in the City.
So Tommy, the actually original prompt was two secret agents deep undercover hunt for Bigfoot.
Got it.
I totally missed the secret agents.
That makes a lot more sense than mine.
So unfortunately, maybe I should pass it both of those because
was the undercover. They were hunting in the woods of Alaska. That's why I thought it was
mine are undercover cougars. Yeah.
Here at Next Reel Studios, we like to go big ideas, high concept. Sometimes things that don't naturally mesh well with each other.
What will Taye Diggs do?
That's where bread comes from
now,
and the butter we put on it. Yeah, so Tommy will be pitching off of this new one.
I get to rewrite it.
You get to try and see if you can rewrite it.
Got it. I'm ready.
Hope it's a comedy.
I don't understand the first part. Okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, here we go. Anne Hathaway, Disneyland. Have they ever been together? Well, they are now, because Anne Hathaway plays a princess like she did, I think, in that other movie. And she's in trouble because she's at no, we can't say Disneyland. She's at Disneytown, and she discovers a horrible secret. The churros are people. The churros are people, and she's got to get the word out so people don't keep eating them. So this is Soylent Churro. Never mind. This is too hard. This is too hard. Soylent Churro. It's coming out tomorrow. This is very difficult.
We had an exploratory meeting with Tommy, and he pitched us an interesting idea. We like some of it, but we're sort of looking for a new spin on it. Do you think that you could sort of take some of the things and send it in a new direction?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. You're not going to give me anything else than that. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Princess in Disneytown. A scientist discovers a dark and dirty secret. The theme park industrial complex has been hiding for decades. The churros are alive. But of course, nobody believes this scientist, played by Stranger Things and Gross Anatomy star Matthew Modine. So he calls upon a retired Disneytown princess, Daphne Zuniga. That's right. Reunited for the first time since Gross Anatomy in 1989. And they go up against Disneytown head Christine Lottie. We got the trio. And they are fighting in the film for HBO Max, the absolutely true adventures of Churro, the living snack. What the hell was that prompt?
As you know, I know reunions are in right now. But that's a pretty deep cut.
What did we get?
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So the prompt was actually a princess determined to rescue herself discovers a dangerous secret at a popular new theme park.
But I'm glad you kept the churros in.
I thought there had to be. Why would you come up with churros are alive if there wasn't something about animated bread products? What kind of lunacy would that be? It turns out all total lunacy. Oh, that's really fun.
Well, it's hard to say, Sasquatch in the City. I mean, it's really a hard one to beat there, too.
The absolutely true adventures of Churro the Snack.
Okay, so you are no longer going off of each other. Now, a new wrinkle has been added in our third and final round. So the same thing, I'm going to give you a prompt. However, sometime during the prompt, I am going to pause you and give you a studio note.
Oh, I hate notes.
Interesting.
So a random studio note, the third card that's in this box, will come thing. So like in the middle of your discussion of Sasquatch in the City, suddenly I will pause the thing and say, what if we set this during medieval times instead? And you have to adjust your pitch on the fly.
Got it.
Got it? Okay. Not using that one. Get medieval times out of your mind. Right.
I'm going to start in medieval times. Tay days.
Right. Pete. Or this. Ooh, okay. All right. This is going to be a fun one. Okay. Pete, I'm sending you your
stand
prompt
by to
right
receive
now.
it.
So we have sort of a broad concept of it, but we have some ideas as well. So, as you're going along.
I think you're going to love this. I really do. We've been really workshopping it hard for the last 3 or 4 seconds. I think this is going to be something that's going to really hit home. Imagine medieval times. Running around in a wooded village is Tay Diggs. He's a con artist and a hustler. And he's playing a lot of cards, which haven't been invented yet. So he's really good at it, and nobody else is. But then one day, he's out on the dock. And who does he run into? Taraji P. Henson. And he sees her leap from the pier into the ocean and sprout a tail. She is a merperson. From there, romantic hijinks ensue. It's Splash in the Middle Ages with Tay Diggs and Taraji P.
Okay, I want to pause. I'm going to stop you right there. So there's something that's been going around, and I think we need to get in on it, which is people love talking animals. So I think you need a talking dog in this movie. And I need you to tell me who it is that's going to be voicing the talking dog.
Yeah,
So,
it's a what's a good port dog? An Aussie? Are Aussies port dogs? No, it's a scroungy little mutt. It's mutt of a nameless breed played by Halle Berry. So Halle Berry, she was Catwoman. We can really leverage that in the marketing. Now she's dog woman, but woman dog. Halle Berry, she befriends the merperson and becomes her confidant and actually helps the merperson win the relationship with a con artist.
And your time is up, and the title of this movie is...
Crap! Oh, crap, it's a merperson!
From the producers, they're talking, oh shit, zombies.
I've got to get it in my head that the pitch needs a title. Okay.
Tommy, do you have something
for a title?
To title?
Yeah, I would say
Goodwill Fishing.
Dog Woman, a medieval tale, but tale is spelled T-A-I-L.
Excellent. Even I have to admit, that's excellent workshopping.
That's pretty good.
And the tagline is no bones about it. That doesn't make any sense. It's just vaguely dog related. And young people will not know that phrase. Okay. All right. I got mine. Let me paste it over.
You got
here.
yours?
And what is this again? I just do it and then you interrupt me. That's right. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So I'd say this is right in your
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
I can do this.
So I have high expectations for this.
Anne Hathaway from the other movie, boy, oh boy, is she up the paddle without a river, because she has a real woman job, and she's got a kid. Oh, and of course she works at a store that sells cupcakes, because that's the only thing we allow women to do, or maybe it's sort of vague advertising. Anyways, when her father, Taye Diggs, figure that out, dies, he leaves her something. He leaves her the whole cupcake shop, but also an evil secret. A doll that's evil. A doll that's evil. An evil doll, which is really bad. This is that crossover that you've been waiting for between 13 going on 30 and Annabelle. This is a part of the James Wan.
Let me stop you there. I like where you're going, but we've just signed a major licensing agreement, and we really need you to make fidget spinners central to the plot.
Boy, is she overworked and a single parent. She's got a kid. She's got this doll. Fidget spinners, Jesus. Did I say that all the cupcakes double as fidget spinners? Because she ordered an entire warehouse of them and got them all in, and now she's just trying to hide each one in a cupcake because she has too much. Because the bottom went out of fidget spinners a long time ago, and the title.
Okay, your time is up. Tell me the name of that movie.
It's called. Nailed it. This is going to be great. First thought best, The Fidgetering, like The Conjuring, but with the word fidget in it. The Fidgetering. Weirdly, it's The Fidgetering 3, and there's not been any prequels, so everyone's going to be confused. It's called The Fidgeting 3, no bones about it.
I thought Pete's Untitled Movie is going to win it, but you know the
Fidgetering 3, no bones about it. It's rocket fuel. I love it.
So I think the winner of that game was the audience. So that was Pitch Fest.
I love that game. That's a really fun game.
That's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's one of those fun things for like around the table, because it's like apples to apples. It rotates. So the next person then becomes the executive, and you do that, and then you can add in all sorts of different variations.
And we can really put Taye Diggs to work. I mean, yeah. I
mean, I think you guys gave him a lot more work than
ever since Daybreak.
lately. So, All right, so we have some more stuff to do, but in the meantime, tell me sort of what's going on around the next real world. Pete, tell me about what's going on? You guys are working through your.
We are working through our favorite series.
I believe there's some vampires.
Well, that's in the future, right? We just finished the Before trilogy, and
another trilogy that I have not seen any movies of, because I also have an Ethan
I don't
Hawke
have
problem.
an Ethan Hawke problem, but I have I am very pro Ethan Hawke Moon Knight. Like that, I think Ethan Hawke has aged into who he needs to be. Young Ethan Hawke, this whole Gen X woe is me thing, I could not take that anymore. I could not end the first one fast enough, and that led to the third one where we came to blows. I did not care for those movies. Really, generally, the second one was passable. The first and the third were not great. But we are moving on to, thank God, moving on to the Raid duo. So we're doing the two Raid movies. So that'll be a breath of fresh air after a sad Gen X tour of Europe. So it's been great. We did for the members. We just did our Gremlins 2 episode, filling up our Gremlins series, which was pitch perfect. Love Gremlins 2, and so that's the next real stuff.
What's going on in over on that? What's that smell?
We are. What?
We had a rough one today. We recorded today, and I think that's left us both with the shakes.
It was very funny and very traumatic.
Very traumatic.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's very, everything's been going great. Where are we in listener, in the season? Because we bank episodes.
Yeah, we're a couple of episodes ahead. I think episode 4 went live last week. And so we're cruising, but get ready, because let me just say, Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs. That's this week.
Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs. Get ready.
Kissing. Okay. All right. So then let's move on to the weekly list challenge. So last week we were challenged by mostly Mandy, but the rest of you guys as well, to go for things that have had multiple adaptations. That have been on stage, that were books, television, film, musicals, that kind of thing. There were some weird bylaws that were bandied around about what was and wasn't.
Let's just say Mandy bandied. She was a hard ass about the whole thing. Let me just say that out loud. Mandy was a hard ass, and she wanted to make sure that whatever we picked ended somehow in movie form. And I think the rest of us were a little bit more loosey-goosey on that. We didn't bandy, we loosey-gooseyed. And Mandy bandied and loosey-gooseyed.
Mandy bandied. All right, so I sort of I didn't follow that rule of ending in a movie. But I did as my specific thing of what not to do. But the problem is Disney, because you really could just do this.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Pick anything that Howard Ashman and Alan Menken never touched, and chances are it's been made in 1,000 ways. Disney's product is tell one story and then tell it again. So I basically, for myself, did no Disney properties at all, because I thought that would be too easy. So the first one I did actually was interesting, and it's one of the only horror movies out there that people yell at the protagonist, plug it up, because I'm talking, of course, about Carrie. So Carrie. Right. Originally a film it was a book in 1974, became a film in 1976, had a sequel, The Rage, Carrie 2, in 99. Another film adaptation, which actually secretly was a pilot for a series that never got made, in 2002. A remake of the movie in 2013, a musical in 1998, which apparently closed after like a dozen performances or so, and then Riverdale just did a whole episode where they did almost the entire musical do it. So my first contribution to multiple adaptations is Stephen King.
It's amazing. Carrie. I did not go that direction. That is a great one. Great one.
I want to see that musical.
I know.
Very badly.
Right.
Well, if you can watch the Riverdale one, they actually do like a really high budget, quality adaptation.
I only watched an episode of Riverdale.
I mean, it's still Riverdale.
That's.
I mean, if you set your expectations to Glee,
okay,
you'll be pleased.
Tom?
Hey, it's me.
Tom, what do you got?
This was an old French novel about a bunch of rich creeps being creepy. And then it got made into one of my favorite movies of all time, keeping it back in the old time period. And then it got made into a real movie, which had a lot of bittersweet symphony, I'm just remembering, in it. And it's mostly about step siblings that want to sleep with each other. It started as Les Liaisons Dangereuses, and then became Dangerous Liaisons, and then became Cruel Intentions. And then I think there was even another one after that, but I don't remember. But I like Cruel Intentions, and Dangerous Liaisons is legit one of my favorite
That was like
movies
Reese
I've ever seen.
Witherspoon and Sarah Michelle Gellar and
Yep. And Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah. Wow.
And Selma Blair.
Yes, Selma Blair. Oh, man.
Yep.
What a gothically brooding film to be in your wheelhouse, Tom.
You know, but it's really good. All right.
This character originally appeared as a villain in the Penny Dreadful serial The String of Pearls in 1846. He made his way to the stage in 1847 in a melodrama by George Dibdin Pitt. George Dibdin Pitt.
Keep dibbing.
It was a ballet in 1959. There have been many stage adaptations before it finally made it into Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler's hands in 1979 as a musical. It's been adapted as a film no fewer than 5 times, 1926, 1928, 1936, 1970, and 2007. Finally, by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. It is Sweeney Todd. Beyond that, countless radio and audio plays, TV, and adaptations of the music over the years, along with comics in which the character has been in the pens of Mark Andrieko in Manhunter, Neil Gaiman, and Michael Zulli in their unfinished prologue, and the 176-page adaptation in 2010 by Sean Wilson and Declan Shelby. Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber, Fleet Street.
It even shows up in Kevin Smith's Jersey Girl.
And I intentionally left that out, actually. I couldn't do it.
That was good. Sweeney Todd's really good.
Yeah, it's cool. Ballet. I want to see the ballet.
Yeah, there's been a lot of slasher movies based on that.
What's your next one?
All right, back it up. See, I thought I was going to go furthest back.
Can anybody beat 1846?
You know what? I think I actually might be able to because I didn't actually write it down. So give me. This is the song I sing. That's going to be edited out later. Look up the part. Didn't put in my notes.
18? I can
I'm going because I'm going back to 1844.
Ooh, 2 years.
Because this adaptation has had over 50 different adaptations over the years. The first was in 1903. In 1921, Douglas Fairbanks jumped in. In 1948, Gene Kelly jumped in. In 1973, a little film got put together by a guy named Richard Lester. It has a little connection to a certain Man of Steel. In 1993, you might have seen a Sutherland and a Sheen working together with the first time we ever got to meet Oliver Platt. In 2011, you saw Mila Jovovich swinging her way. Of course, I'm talking about The Three Musketeers.
I never know ever what you guys are talking about until the very end.
You said Oliver Platt, and
on television, there was the Young Blades and the Musketeers series starring Peter Capaldi as the villain, and there was also even a K-drama, which I didn't know about, and there was actually a musical in 1928 by P.G. Wodehouse doing the lyrics.
Oh. I want to see that.
Yeah, they say it was revised in 1984 and closed within 16 performances.
Outstanding. I actually have another musical on my list that I thought would have the fewest performances, but you have bested me already.
Oh,
outstanding.
I'm going to best you both by going back the earliest.
Okay.
1600s. 1600s.
Wow.
It started as a play, and then it's been in over 8 movies, and we just keep making it. And one was by a noted anti-Semite. This is Hamlet. Did you guys see the Kenneth Branagh one? The one that's like legit 4 hours? Is it good?
I did. I actually saw that in theaters, and they had to have a break because it was so big they couldn't fit the film on the platter. Yeah, they had to actually have an intermission so they could change the.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Hamlet, the end.
Yeah.
The best version of that was Hamlet 2. I think everybody agrees.
Oh, right. I forgot about Hamlet, too.
All right. My second pick originally premiered in 1886, 2 years after the Sweeney Todd came out, but it came out as an opera by Giacomo Puccini. It was titled La Bohème.
Puccini.
Jonathan Larson then wrote the musical, which premiered January 25th, 1996, called Rent. Sadly, that was the day of Larson's death. The film of Rent was then released in 2005 with most of the original Broadway cast members intact, which was fantastic. Only Joanne and Mimi were different in the principal casts. I am a huge, huge fan of Rent. It came out like it was written for me, and I saw it in New York, and I just absolutely love it. I recognize it's not for everybody. Like, for example, my kids don't really care for it. And, what do they know? Nothing.
Yeah.
Rent. Great. It was actually a pretty good adaptation of the film, too. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
People.
I was on a kick of showing my daughter mediocre adaptations of great musicals.
Of course,
so
that was in there.
That definitely that wheelhouse as well. Because just like you, when Rent came out, it hit me like a freight train. Like everything changed after that. So yeah, that's one of the things that people have their criticisms, and it's fine. Like that's absolutely, you're absolutely, but like it's one of those things that I hold very close to my heart.
Every time, for example, every time I hear the beep sound, all I can do is continue. That was a very loud beep. I don't know if this is even if this is working. Mark, this is me. Are you screening your calls? It's
Mark,
Mom.
Are you screening your calls?
I do the whole
Mom.
thing. It takes me a very long time to leave a message. All right, who's next?
All right. So that it's good. Actually, it's interesting because talking about mnemonic devices and stuff too, because there is a movie that I'm a big fan of. That whenever I hear the title of, I start singing lyrics that have nothing to actually do with it. Because one of my favorite horror movies of all times is Cabin in the Woods. But when I hear Cabin in the Woods, I hear Cabin in the Woods, ooh, Cabin in the Woods, yeah. We're 5 college students on our way to an old abandoned cabin in the woods. Oh, yeah. Because that's from Evil Dead the musical. Because Evil Dead came out in 1981. Sequel in 1987, Army of Darkness, one of the greatest films of all time, in 1992, remake of Evil Dead in 2013, Evil Dead Rise apparently is coming out next year, and then there was a television series called Ash vs. Evil Dead, but of course the best version of it all was Evil Dead the musical,
I had no
which
idea.
featured a splash zone.
That's amazing.
First 3 rows, you get bloody.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's the cast album is available. You can listen to it. It's just bizarre the fact that they made a musical of it, and the music is actually really good. I mean, they actually have a full on dance for the demons. Like when they're trying, like it's called "Do the Necronomicon," and it's sort of like the disco breakdown kind of thing, and it's really good.
That's amazing.
And yes, I mean there's blood and chainsaws and hands running around and Kandarian mooses and all sorts of stuff.
That is Evil Dead is one. Like I think the first Evil Dead I saw was what was the third one? Army of Darkness. I think I saw Army of Darkness. That was the first thing I saw. And I don't think I really...
Me too.
I never went back and watched Evil Dead. It was like years. And so I don't think I really ever got into the Evil Dead thing. I've seen them all, but I never really enculturated into the fandom. So...
Yeah, for me, it's just Army of Darkness, and then everything else is just sort of like ancillary, just sort of playing around it. But
all right, Tom, number 3.
My turn. One of my favorite things ever is contained pieces, meaning things that all take place in one place, and what included in that is locked room mysteries or mysteries that all take place. Luckily, they're having a cool resurgence with Glass Onion and Knives Out by Rian Johnson. But this was one of the first ones that I ever read, and it's been made into 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, countless amount of plays and films and radios. I cannot count them all. That's too many. But it takes place with 10 people pretty much locked in a house, and then only who's going to make it. If you think the American name 10 Little Indians is problematic, do not look up the original title of the book. because 10 Little Indians is a breath of fresh air compared to the original one. But luckily, it is mostly known for as And Then There Were None by writer Agatha Christie. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. I've seen a ton of adaptations of that too. My favorite, and by favorite, I mean least favorite, is there was a version in the early 2000s that decided they were going to put a happy ending on it. That was the problem with it. They actually changed the ending of it. So I say spoilers for a book that's been out longer than all of us have been alive. But it basically turns out that everybody dies until there's like basically one person has faked his death and he's actually the one doing it. Well, in this version, he's like setting up the woman so it looks like she hung herself when like from like the guy she met on the thing, like the guy who drove the boat, all of a sudden like kicks down the door and like no and like saves her and they show like it ends with like they would have gotten away with it and went for that guy who grabbed the boat. I mean, it was so like I was like, what? No, yeah. We know better than that old lady. Yeah.
Well, that sounds horrible.
Hilarious. I found it on YouTube too. Yeah, it was terrible. And I was like, did I misremember that? I looked it up. Nope, that's actually what happened.
Wow. All right. Does that mean it's me?
All right.
Yep. Take us home.
It is. Bring us home.
Okay. Mine is based on a book that the first time I read it is the first horror crime book that I read and was physically ill. Like I've never read a book and felt like I could really seriously legit throw up right now. This author has a unique ability to climb right into my gag reflex. His name is Bret Easton Ellis. The book was American Psycho. American Psycho is one of my all-time favorite movies. I taught American Psycho for the bravest of the brave in a media and pop culture class for about 15 years. I really, really enjoy this movie. I've seen it many, many times. What I did not know about American Psycho, the book, then the movie adaptation, is that musical impresario Duncan Sheik and Roberto Aguirre Sacasa actually wrote the musical version of American Psycho, which you can listen to on Spotify and Apple Music, that ran for 27 preview shows and 54 regular performances in 2016. Like legit not long ago. Yeah. I had never heard of it, and I am very, very eager to listen to the music exactly one time.
I actually have seen it. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't want to take away your thing, so.
No, that was the end of my thing. 3 adaptations, American Psycho, one of my favorite things, and a book that was hard to read, and then a musical that's ridiculous.
So not only have I seen like a local production did American Psycho here, and it was phenomenal, but Matt Smith did the West End version, and they filmed it.
He's in that.
Matt Smith,
in a movie about the Sasquatch,
like The Doctor.
With Jay Diggs.
Yeah, from Sasquatch in the City. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Sasquatch in the City. What was it?
For Sister Squatch? I don't remember what it was. In Alaska. Yeah, it was a great movie.
The Hunt for Sister Squatch. I think that's clearly what it was. Yeah, and he did. They filmed it.
I would love to see it. That is an adaptation I would love to see.
I don't know if you can legitimately find it, but I think you can find it.
So American Psycho, crazy that would be. But Duncan Sheik is known for his like not quite great musicals with some really great beats. Like,
I would say this fits. I mean, this is not something I listen to on a regular basis. Also, very dark material, but so is Sweeney Todd. But it's a good score.
Amazing. All right.
I mean, there's a lot of bad musicals out there, and I would not.
But is it all like what's the vibe of it? Is it like it's 80s stuff?
80s,
it's like digital,
like various sort of
I can truck with that. That's why it's one of the reasons
there's not a lot of like I'm an American Psycho.
Music is so.
I'm going to feed this kitten to this ATM.
Music is so important to the movie that it feels like to do honor to it.
Yes,
you got to really lean in on what music represents to that character, Patrick Bateman. Yeah. Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. All right, so we will discuss our alternates in the after show. In the meantime, we need to decide what we're going to have the people next week do. Now, Tommy, so happens, is hosting
next
week. So he is not a part of this. However, I come pre-prepared. I have a little something in my pocket that for you and I, Pete. So if you could take a little aside with me, then we'll push Tommy to the side and talk about this, because I have something I think would be really good for Tommy and the ladies who are doing it.
I'm
following up on
what? What's yours?
Okay, following up on what we had just talked about and multiple adaptations. What if we have them do movies that should be made into musicals?
Oh,
I don't know. It's like,
because you have 3 very musical people who are going to be on next week's show.
I really like Tommy and Chrissy, but I feel like that might be too much of a gift for Mandy. Like, does she deserve it? No,
she has carried the show.
I will tell you, I think that is a great idea. I would love to hear that conversation. Movies that should be, but are there any constraints or conditions upon which this conversation should be based?
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, well, I think it's, and this is, I'm not sure if all 3 of the hosts would be into this, but I think they need to at least give us, like a principal cast. Like who would they cast?
Oh, interesting. I was going to say, I thought like what's the opening song? Like what's the first? What's the Ballad of Sweeney Todd? Sort of what's your bell?
Yeah,
from,
right. That's a tricky one. That's a
title of the
opening song. And I would like to hear them cast somebody, at least a principal cast member and the opening song.
And who their lead is. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Boy,
you really
look,
Tom is already staring at his bookshelf of 15 movies that he owns, and he's already
I've already come up with the opening sound. It's Is This Your Card from Now You See Me the Musical.
I need to know, is this your card?
I'm not saying anything, but I think that'll be fun.
That'll be really fun. That is a perfect list. Go for it.
Okay, so we got multiple prizes. So movies that should be musicals, opening song, and who is your lead actor or lead performer?
Deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Plus
Deal.
Okay.
Name the opening
Asterisk,
song.
no Russell Crowe.
And who is your lead?
Watching.
Yeah, he's like legit doing this right now.
I am.
Like the show hasn't even
Fight
released
Club,
yet.
Never talk about Fight Club.
Hey, wait a minute. Radio. They're actually Fight Club. If you search for Fight Club the musical, you will find a live wire where they did a bit and wrote a number of the songs for Fight Club, and they are amazing. They go through actually like 10 rules of Fight Club, and we're really, really serious about that last one. Amazing.
Oh, I see. I thought it'd be. They said we can't talk about Fight Club, but they never said we can't sing.
Awesome.
All right, I'm in.
All right. So, all right. As we wrap up and sort of let you go back to your happy lives, I'd like to hear from you guys some recommendations you have for things that are not movies or television. Give me some. We have a lot of friends in the podcast community, so tell me some podcast recommendations you might have. I will start just because everyone's looking at me blankly. HBO Max has finally figured out what podcasts are, so you can actually go and now listen to Batman: The Audio Adventures as an audio podcast, which it always has been, but you can only ever stream it as you watch a blank image on their streaming site. Until now, you actually can go and listen to the entire first season as a real podcast, audio on your player for free. And I highly recommend it. It's really good. And especially if you're an SNL fan, that is loaded with some great SNL alumni, including Jason Sudeikis as the mayor of Gotham. And it's legitimately a great Batman story too. I know Spotify has their one, but this one is sort of an unsung gem. Season 2 is now only streaming on HBO Max. You have to just watch a static image as you listen to the podcast. Way to go, HBO Max. Man, Warner Brothers is just
understand the assignment.
But yes, but highly recommend check out Batman the Audio Adventures.
I got one, and it's a recommendation that I originally got from you. So when I totally flub this recommendation, I want you to take over. I listened to it completely twice, and the second time even was as good, if not better, than the first time. I listened to the whole thing on my drive to Montana a couple of weeks ago. It is Blockbuster from Epic Left Originals and Cadence 13, and it is the actual dramatization of the stories of George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, the 1970s movie revolution, and season 2 is all about James Cameron. It was extraordinary production, extraordinary research, extraordinary dramatization, the actors. It was a phenomenal thing. It's over now, and so you can listen to it and then be done with it if you want, or do like me and listen to it again.
I'm hoping there'll be a season 3, but right now, there's 2 complete seasons.
What's it called again?
Blockbuster.
It's called
and there are a lot of blockbusters. This is the one with kind of a blue circle and gold print Blockbuster from Epic Left Originals and Cadence 13. So good. I mean, when they do the whole music, any of the music ones, when I was like in tears driving down the road. Like, this was so good. It was so good.
I can't say enough good things about it. Like they do phenomenal. I keep meaning to go and give them money because they spent so much on it to get the high quality recordings, and I always forget. But I did the same thing. I listened to the entire thing all the way through again, which I rarely do on podcasts. And not only I've said a lot of stuff in the past about like the first season, which is all George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, but the second season, all James Cameron. The real hero, I think, of that thing is Jamie Horner. Like, I really did not know Jamie Horner that much. And like listening to that and hearing his story and like how he's like the guy from the Corman years, and like they just were hanging out and hammering sets together, and then go on to like win.
When he calls about Oscars, Titanic and says, "Are you in a good mood?"
I mean,
the whole scene was
like, fantastic. I have the song I want you to play.
Yeah,
Celine Dion sang it.
For
Are you ready? But I need you to be in a good mood before you listen to this.
So good.
Yeah, so good.
Mine is called Cautionary Tales with Tim Halpert. Jim Halpert? No, that's from The Office. Tim Hartford. Either way, it's called Cautionary Tales, and this guy recounts disasters or things that have gone very wrong in history, and then talks about the cognitive biases, the psychological mistakes that lead to it, and what we can learn from them. And it's very, very elegantly written. It's part of the Pushkin, what's his name? Who wrote Blink? Who wrote The Tipping Point? Malcolm Gladwell's podcast network called Pushkin. It's on that, and I think it's really, really great.
I have never subscribed to it, but they did a while back. 99% Invisible did a crossover where they were pushing Cautionary Tales, and so I think I've heard an episode of it. I have fond memories. I'm subscribing now.
I think you should, and I'll subscribe to Blockbuster Time.
Oh, you should subscribe actually to Blockbuster, because I don't know what Blockbuster Time is.
Yeah, so those podcast recommendations should fill your time listening to stuff until the next episode of Saturday Matinee. So thank you for spending some time with us. Thank you for letting us go along. Gentlemen, thank you for letting me throw some pitches at you and have you knock them right back at me. I think at least one of those is going to get picked up by Hollywood, and then they're not going to pay us at all.
Get squatchy.
So. All right, so we will see you next time. And until then, go do something nice for yourself.
You've been sat-matted. What?
Oh, God. Oh, crap. It's podcast.